You know, there's one award in the world that can take a person or a cause and just blast it onto the global stage, literally overnight. It can amplify a voice from a prison cell or give incredible weight to a really fragile peace process. I'm talking, of course, about the Nobel Peace Prize. And every single year, its announcement creates these huge ripples across the globe, and it almost always carries a powerful, powerful political message.
Just imagine this for a second. A leader who has been voting for democracy for years in the face of incredible opposition is suddenly awarded this prize, and their first words aren't about their own victory, but a dedication to their country, saying something like, "The prize belongs to the people." That one sentence, it tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it? This award is very rarely just about one person. It's about a collective struggle, a fight for freedom, or a desperate cry for peace.
All right, so to really get to the bottom of this, here's what we've got planned. First, we'll talk about the kind of courage it takes to win. Then, we're going to decode the prize itself. I mean, where did it even come from? We'll take a peek behind the very secretive doors in Oslo to see how winners are picked. And then we'll ask the big one, is it all just hype or does it actually make a difference? We'll also connect it back to India's own Nobel story. And finally, look ahead to see what the future holds for a prize like this.
So first up, let's talk about what it actually takes to win this thing. You see, the Nobel Committee often uses the prize to send a very clear message. When they give it to a political dissident, which they've done many times, it's not just an award, it's a political statement with huge global implications. Take someone like Maria Corina Machado from Venezuela. For decades, she's been a leading voice for democracy. The Nobel Committee didn't just recognize her work, they praised her extraordinary civilian courage, celebrating her relentless fight to keep, as they put it so powerfully, the flame of democracy burning amid a growing darkness. It's this kind of unwavering, nonstop commitment to peaceful change that really gets the committee's attention.
So, why does a win like this matter so much? Well, first, it puts a global spotlight on struggles against authoritarianism that, let's be honest, might otherwise be ignored by the world. Second, by highlighting a method of ballots over bullets, it sends a powerful message that nonviolent change is the way to go. It's also a clear call for free and fair elections. But you know, there's a dark flip side. Winning the prize can actually put these laureates in even more danger, and there's often a real serious question of whether they'll even be allowed to travel to Oslo to accept it.
To really get the significance of an award like this, we've got to go back to the very beginning. What is this prize really? Why was it created? And what does it actually stand for? Let's decode the DNA of the world's most famous award. So this is the core mission, taken straight from Alfred Nobel's will back in 1895. And it's not just about stopping wars. The criteria are actually quite specific. Fraternity between nations, which is really about building cooperation. Then there's the abolition or reduction of standing armies, a clear call for disarmament, and promoting peace congresses, which today we just call diplomacy and dialogue. These three pillars have basically been the guide for over a century.
But here's the ultimate irony, right? The founder, Alfred Nobel, was the inventor of dynamite. So how does a man who created a weapon of war end up founding the world's most famous peace prize? Well, the story goes, he was absolutely horrified after reading a premature obituary of himself that called him a merchant of death. Shaken and influenced by his friend, the peace activist Bertha von Suttner, he decided to completely reshape his legacy. He dedicated his massive fortune to creating these prizes to make sure his name would be remembered for progress, not for destruction.
So, we have this prestigious prize with a fascinating, slightly contradictory history. But how does the committee actually pick one winner from hundreds of candidates? The process is famously secretive, and it all happens behind closed doors in Oslo, which, by the way, is unique since all the other Nobel Prizes are decided in Sweden. So let's try and pull back the curtain a little.
First things first, you can't just apply for the Nobel Peace Prize. Nope, there's no application form you can fill out. It's a super exclusive process where only a select group of people around the world can even suggest a name. So, who are these influential people?
The list of nominators is basically a who's who of global expertise. You've got previous winners, top university professors in fields like law and history, and the heads of major peace research institutes. It's a really closed circle, and it's designed that way to make sure that the nominations themselves come from a place of deep knowledge and credibility.
And this secrecy? It's extreme. Everything. Who was nominated, what the committee argued about, the shortlist, all of it is locked away and kept secret for a full 50 years. This secrecy rule really adds to the prize's mystique, but it also means we sometimes don't learn the full controversial story behind a decision until decades have passed.
Okay, so a winner is chosen through this very secret process. But here's the million-dollar question, literally. Does it actually do anything? Is it a real catalyst for peace, or is it just a feel-good gesture that doesn't change much? Let's look at both sides of the argument.
On the positive side, the impact can be absolutely huge. Suddenly, a forgotten cause gets global visibility. The winner gets this incredible moral authority, a platform to speak from where world leaders actually have to listen. And practically speaking, the prize money of around $1 million provides crucial funding. Just think about the 1993 prize to Nelson Mandela and F.W. de Klerk. It didn't just reward them, it added global weight to the very fragile process of ending apartheid. But let's be real. The prize has had its fair share of controversies. The decision is made by a tiny 5-person committee, so it can be very subjective, and sometimes it's accused of having a Western bias. You also get these premature awards, like Barack Obama winning in 2009 just months into his presidency. Even he seemed surprised by that one. And then there are the epic omissions. The most famous, of course, is that Mahatma Gandhi was never awarded the prize, a fact that even the Nobel Committee now seems to regret.
And that brings us perfectly to India's own complex and fascinating history with the prize. It's a story that has both a celebrated, totally deserving winner and that historic, massive omission we just mentioned.
In 2014, that Nobel spotlight turned to India. Kailash Satyarthi, a tireless children's rights activist, was named a co-winner. He was recognized for his decades-long fight for a child's right to an education and to freedom. And what's so powerful is that Satyarthi's methods are explicitly Gandhian, using nonviolent protest and action, which creates this beautiful, direct link between his modern work and India's greatest icon of peace.
And his work isn't just theory or talk. The number of lives he's changed is just staggering. Over 100,000. Through his organization Bachpan Bachao Andolan, which he started way back in 1980. He has personally led rescues of more than 100,000 children from slavery, trafficking, and forced labor. Just think about that. That's a whole stadium full of children who've been given their lives back.
And of course, you can't talk about peace in India without talking about the man who inspired Satyarthi, Mahatma Gandhi. It remains one of the Nobel's greatest ironies that the world's most famous symbol of nonviolence never won the prize. And it wasn't for a lack of trying. He was put forward 5 separate times. The last time was in 1948, the year he was assassinated. The committee actually considered a posthumous award but decided against it. And in a really remarkable move, they gave the prize to no one that year, stating there was simply no suitable living candidate.
So, after looking at its past and its present, what's next for the Nobel? The world today is facing challenges that Alfred Nobel could never, ever have dreamed of. Let's zoom out and think about the prize's relevance in this new, messy, global landscape.
It's really important to remember that the Nobel isn't the only game in town. There are other major peace prizes, including 2 very prominent ones from India. As you can see here, the Gandhi Peace Prize, which is awarded by the government, focuses specifically on Gandhian nonviolence. Then there's the Indira Gandhi Prize, which is more about international peace and development. Now, if you look at the prize money, the Nobel is by far the biggest, at around $1 million, but these other awards play a really vital role in honoring different kinds of peace-building work.
The prize today is facing some massive challenges. For one, the very meaning of peace has changed. It's not just about ending wars anymore. The committee now gives prizes for work on climate change and human rights, arguing you can't have peace without them. There's also the risk factor. Awarding the prize to an activist can put a target on their back. And in our politically polarized world, finding a winner that everyone agrees on is almost impossible. With global peace actually declining in recent years, the biggest challenge is simple. How does a prize for peace stay relevant in a world with less and less of it?
Which leaves us with this one final, really crucial question. In a world that feels more conflicted and divided than ever before, what's the real value of a prize like this? Is it a vital beacon of hope? A tool to amplify the voices we absolutely need to hear the most? Or is it becoming just a hopeful, symbolic gesture in the face of challenges that are just too big? It's definitely something worth thinking about.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the Nobel Peace Prize. I really hope this gave you a new perspective on it. And hey, if you want to lock in all this information, head over to our website. The link is right there in the description. We've got detailed notes and a great mind map for a super quick revision of the whole topic. Thanks so much for watching.